Hey everybody, it is Romania Black. Oh buddy, we're on episode 5 of Attack on Titan season 2, Historia. So, before we start this, I have to say that you would think that after episode 4, with Ymir turning into a Titan and things getting crazy, that I would want to immediately dive into the next episode, into this one. But honestly, I've taken almost a week in between episodes 4 and 5 because I wanted to go back and look at some things, because I have my crackpot theories. Y'all know this. I'm recording a little bit ahead with this series. One, because just scheduling wise, I have a lot going on this month, so I've been recording ahead. But two, because I've tried to record a little bit ahead just to stay on top of spoilers, right? Because everybody seems super hyped about the season. I don't want a spoiler accidentally getting out. And I'm kind of glad, because especially with all the stuff going on this season, holy crap. So yeah, I've been a little bit ahead on that just to be safe. But with that being said, after episode 4, I was like, wait a minute, I need to go back to season 1 and rewatch episodes 3 and 4. I wanted to go back because I was like, I need to go back and rewatch episodes 3 and 4. And I ended up watching episodes 3, 4, and 5 of season 1 over again before coming back. I did it just right now before I'm recording this because I was like, I need to see it. So there's a couple things I want to note and that I'm still super suspicious about. So first of all, the season 1, the ED, the second ED that started in episode 13. There's a funny little thing if you watch that second ED. They have the wall, right? And then on one side of the wall, there is Armin, there's Mikasa, there's Eren. On the other side of the wall, the only characters on the other side of the wall are Annie, Reiner, Bertholdt, Krista, and Ymir. Funny those specific people on the other side of the wall. And we know that 2 of them can become Titans. Do I think that Krista can become a Titan? No. I think that the others surrounding her can become Titans. I still think Reiner and Bertholdt can become Titans. And I will explain that further before we start this episode, because I want to get off my chest before we start this. But yeah, so I found that interesting. The other thing I found interesting, going back to episode 3, and episode 4. So episode 3, going back to the whole thing with the training gear and Eren. Eren has that bonding moment with Bertholdt and Reiner early on. And I was really kind of bummed out in season 1 because I thought we would get a lot more Reiner and Bertholdt content, and we didn't. But now it's suspicious, okay? Because, especially Bertholdt, because Bertholdt establishes that in his home village, and they're southeast of Wall Maria, like they're way down there by Shiganshina. Funny that. I find it very interesting that Bertholdt was saying that he opened up his window and saw the Titan. And then after that, he said everything gets really blurry. Like he doesn't remember what happened. So I'm like, dude, did you turn into a Titan at that moment and then figure it all out? Like what? Also, they established that Bertholdt is talented, but doesn't stand out at all. Yeah, well, neither did Ymir. Another thing, Ymir did not make the top 10. For some reason, I had it in my mind that Ymir made the top 10, but Marco made the top 10. Marco made the top 10 and he stuck with Reiner in the survey. He said he was going to stick with Reiner in the survey corps. So Ymir didn't make the top 10, but Krista got number 10. She barely scraped by, and they were talking about it in the last episode and in episode 3. And I kept being like, didn't Ymir make top 10? But she didn't. So I'm thinking in my head, if your goal is to stick with Krista and protect her, why didn't you actively try to make top 10? Because I'm pretty sure Ymir could, right? Unless Ymir's whole goal was to get Krista into the top 10, get Krista sent off to the military police, get her out of there, get her into the interior where she's protected. And then Ymir can go do her own thing. So that's what I think is happening. I think Ymir was trying to get Krista into the military police in the inside, and then everything went down in Trost that ruined that, right? So that leads me to believe that Ymir is not working with Annie, is not working with these other parties. There's multiple factions at play here, is my theory, my crackpot theory, and Ymir and Annie are not connected. So they both can become Titans, but they're not connected like we think they are. So that's interesting. Ymir is solely with Krista, and Annie, who has not even seemed to care about Krista this whole series, has her own agenda. Either Annie's working rogue or something. And it's like, okay, did Annie's dad, was he able to become a Titan and he passed this knowledge on to her? Is Dr. Yeager able to become a Titan and that's how he knows? I don't know. But so that's my theory, is that Ymir and Annie are not connected. But Ymir was trying to get Krista into the military police to get her inside. But here's the other thing. Bertholdt wanted to go inside too, because in episode 3 he comments that it was a nice, stable life in the interior where nothing was. So it's funny that these people that can become Titans, Annie, I think Bertholdt can. They all want to go in the interior where they're safe. They can become Titans. Why do they care? So, I find it super, super interesting. Also, I want to note that in the conversation in the last episode, I rewatched the last episode while editing, and I noticed that Reiner had this big spiel about being a soldier, and he talks to Connie about being a soldier and what it means to do so. And then right after that, Connie asks Bertholdt, he's like, has Reiner always been like this? And Bertholdt says, no, Reiner used to be more like a warrior, but now not so much. And Reiner's like, what the hell, man? What are you talking about? So, do I think that Reiner can become a Titan? Mm-hmm. Do I think that he realizes it? Nope, I don't think he realizes that he can do it. I don't think he knows he can do it, but I think that he can. I think Bertholdt knows that he can do it, because I think my crackpot theory is there's something about the terminology of soldier and warrior, right? There's something about the terminology that has significance. Is there a difference between a soldier and a warrior? Because Annie said she was a failed warrior, and Bertholdt said that Reiner was no longer like a warrior. So what's the difference? Is there a difference between a soldier and a warrior, and what is it? That's what we got to figure out, if that's the case. Also, rewatching episodes 3, 4, and 5. So Reiner's whole deal is he wants to go back home. He wants to go back home. He's very much like Aaron, very much like Connie, wants to go back to his hometown. And Bertholdt doesn't seem as concerned about that. Bertholdt mainly wants to go to the military police, which I find fascinating that Bertholdt and Reiner's goals are different. Bertholdt wanted to go in the military police in episode 3, like John, but Reiner wanted to go back to his hometown. So I have a feeling, I don't know if Reiner would have chose the Survey Corps otherwise, but I have a feeling he wasn't wanting to be in the military police. So it's interesting that their goals are different. The other thing is, rewatching episodes 4 and 5, Bertholdt and Reiner aren't present during the start of the old trust thing with the Colossal Titan. They are nowhere to be found. I scanned through that episode. I saw Jean, I saw Marco, you see Connie and Sasha. You don't see Annie until later on with Aaron, and Reiner and them show back up, but you don't, when the Colossal Titans attacks, you don't see Reiner or Bertholdt. Funny that. My theory is that, and this is a crackpot theory, and I don't know if it's right or not, and I realize I'm talking way too much before the start of this episode, but I've got to get off my chest before we start in case something comes out. You won't think that, oh, Romania just made that up after the fact. No, I'm going to say it beforehand. I think that rewatching episodes 3, 4, and 5, and then going back to the last episode, episode 4, and then this one, I think that Bertholdt is the Colossal Titan. I think Bertholdt's the Colossal Titan. We can't really see any distinguishing features on him, but I think that he is. Is Reiner the Armored Titan? I don't know. It's weird because part of me, I'm like, Reiner can become a Titan. I'm convinced of it. But then part of me is like, Reiner doesn't seem to understand that he can become a Titan, because he seems like he didn't understand the warrior bit, and he fought Annie and everything. He just seems clueless to that. But I'm like, and back in episode 4, they were like, Reiner's as strong as an ox. I'm like, the Armored Titan busts through the gate like a damn bull. I just, my crackpot theory now, rewatching those 3 episodes, I'm thinking, okay, there's something up with Ymir. I think Bertholdt is the Colossal Titan, and I think Reiner's is the Armored Titan. Now, whether they know it or not, I don't know. I think Bertholdt knows. It's just too weird. It's so weird, but that's my crackpot theory. I don't know. If it's true, I'm gonna freak out. But there's just something about the warrior and soldier terminology. There's something with Ymir and Krista, and there's something with Bertholdt and Reiner going on. And there's something with that village and Connie and everything. I'm like, the moment that Bertholdt was like, oh, I blacked out and everything became blurry after that, I'm like, what? No. So we shall see. But I've talked for like 8 minutes now. 9 minutes. God, it's almost been 10 minutes. I just had to get that off my chest before we start this episode. I'm really excited. So I need to hydrate. Get some tea. Let's do this. But all right. Fair enough, right? We are going to start episode 5 of season 2. I can't believe we're almost to the halfway point. We'll talk about that afterwards. But Let's do this, shall we? We're going to start this here in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So, we're getting into some interesting things here for sure. Historia being the illegitimate child of royalty, right? And she somehow knows the secrets. How interesting. Okay. So, is Ymir really dead? Is she really dead already? I mean, she lost a leg and an arm. The leg and the arm didn't concern me so much as like most of her side being gone. That part's concerning a bit. And then she had like the stuff on her face. That part was concerning a bit, that she was missing part of her guts. That's not usually a good sign. Usually you can miss an arm and a leg and still be fine, but the moment you start losing those internal organs like that, it's not usually good. So I don't know if her saying her real name is Historia, if that's something that's common knowledge, because Hanji was pretty quiet and it kind of focused in on Hanji just a bit, but I don't know if that means Hanji knows something about Historia or what that means. I'm sure Hanji was like rushing to the scene like, Ymir, tell me how you know the Titans, hurry, quick. So I don't know, if Ymir died, that's kind of going to be a bummer, because there's so many unanswered questions with her as a character that kind of is shocking. But oh man, the moment that we find out that she's the Titan that ate Reiner and Bertholdt's friend, I have questions. I have lots of questions, okay? So here's the deal. If she is in fact the Titan that tried to eat Reiner, everybody's trying to kill Reiner. All the lady Titans are trying to kill Reiner. First Annie and now Ymir. I'm sensing a pattern. If this indeed is, if Ymir indeed tried to kill Reiner and ended up eating their friend, brother, whatever instead, then that leads to some interesting things, because Reiner and Bertholdt are from the same area as Aaron, right? They're from the same vicinity. And then if Ymir is from that same area, then there's something that was going on in Shiganshina. Something was going down near Wall Maria with all these Titans just popping up, right? Because doesn't it seem a little coincidental that Ymir becoming a Titan was there? We don't know where Annie's from specifically, so that's still like out there as a theory. But Ymir being from the same area, Aaron being from the same area, the Colossal and Armored Titan being from the same area, seems awfully coincidental that in this giant hundreds and hundreds of miles area, you have all these people that we know can turn into Titans in the same area. Seems a little suspicious. To me, anyway. Seems a little coincidental, right? That they all just happen to be gathered in this one convenient location. Just saying. So that's interesting. And now I'm wondering with the OP, with the mom holding the child, if that's referencing to Historia, maybe a little bit. I did not expect us to spend half the episode going back. I know I joked in the last episode. I'm like, I want to know the promise. I want to know all this. We actually find out. I guess it's not sudden backstory, but it's sudden flashback. But I find it interesting that they're training in the winter. I'm curious, there's no Titans around. So do Titans just not... But I guess this is within Wall Rose, so there wouldn't be any Titans to begin with because they're training there. There wouldn't be a Titan to start with. But I'm wondering if Titans, if they travel during the winter, if that impacts anything. It says that they're light. Someone commented about Reiner lifting up the Titan over his shoulder, that the Titans are lighter than normal. So it's like, oh, okay, well that would make sense that you could lift up the Titan because it's lighter than you think. So that makes sense. But so I'm wondering if they could travel better, and that's the case. I don't know. But just I wonder if Titans, travel decent. I guess they travel fine because Ymir becomes one and takes Daz. I didn't realize that Daz was the guy that was throwing up in episode 4. It's funny, I just watched episode 4 and I was like, oh yeah, it is that guy. So that basically Krista saved him. I don't know now if I should call her Krista or Historia. I don't know if I should call her either one. I like Krista. Historia seems seems very regal, but Krista seems more wholesome. So I don't know. I'll probably keep calling her Krista just for the sake of that's her name. But she's also Historia. Interesting. I've in this first scene, of course, the show has to give us Marco because it wants us to suffer more. Like it just let it go. He's dead. We know. But they have to show us Marco. They don't show us John. I guess John was like, I'm not sitting out in the cold. Screw you guys. Back when he was still bratty. And we don't see Bertholdt either. But we do see Reiner. Reiner comes out to help. And of course, what I really like about this episode is that it establishes that Aaron does care about his teammates. And I commented in the reaction about that. But, oh no, Jean is there. Jean is sitting right there. He's sitting right by Aaron. How'd I miss him? I've shamed the Jean fan club. No, he's right there. He's right there next to them. But what I like about this episode is that Aaron is genuinely concerned about Krista and about her safety. And he immediately stands up like, shit, we got to go rescue her. And that's something that I really missed from season 1 because all this stuff was happening to Aaron. First he was swallowed, then he became the Titan, then he was, accused by the military police, then he was like hunted and then he got in the Levi squad. Like all this stuff happened and we didn't really have time to process Aaron being a member of the 104th and then forgetting, and a lot of you have commented since the ending of season 1, you guys are like, oh, Aaron does care about his teammates. And yeah, you get that in tiny little spurts, but I feel like it's not enough. And so I'm glad that this episode, we get to see that, we get the reminder of, Aaron does care about his teammates. He instantly wants to go rescue Krista. I love that. He's like the first person to stand up and be like, let's go do it. Let's get the search party. Let's go find her. Not because he's like attracted to her or anything, but just because she's a teammate and a friend. And I love that. So I'm really glad that this episode took the time and that the mangaka was like, no, let's show Aaron being gung-ho and passionate about saving her. And I like that Marco is like right on board. Marco's like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. And so I love that Marco's the second one to join in because Marco's a compassionate person too. And so then, of course, the people in charge are like, no, we'll send a rescue party in the morning. If we go out there, we're risking losing more people. So no. And they get shut down. And then we get a reminder of just like it's snowing. And I hate the cold. I am personally like, I would much rather be like sweaty hot than freezing cold. I hate being cold. And so it's just like the worst feeling. And I think working outside on a farm, I'm like, there's nothing worse than working outside on a farm in winter. It's the worst feeling. I hate it. And so I relate. But yeah, so there's an interesting conversation here that Krista and Ymir have. And Ymir kind of has been pointing it out all along in the series, and it's taken me until now to piece it all together what she's been telling Krista. But she's basically saying, like, you joining the Survey Corps, you trying to rescue Daz, you going out of your way to go get Jean's horse, you doing this and doing that. It's not because you're self-righteous and everything. It's because you want to be a martyr. You want to die, and you want to die doing something heroic to kind of give 1-2 to the people that have said that you're no good. And she's like, you're just finding a way to kill yourself and make it look heroic. And she's like, what good is that going to do? Nothing. And she's like, you might as well just leave him here and we can save ourselves. And that kind of goes back to Ymir's whole philosophy of, she's like, if I get a second chance at life, which I'm curious about this whole second chance. I'm very curious about that. Like what that second chance means. We don't know why. We don't know how she lost the first chance at life. So I guess is that before she could become a Titan? And this is giving her a second chance? Because it's funny that Aaron died and then had a second chance when he came back as the Titan. Who's to say Ymir hasn't gone through the same thing? Who's to say Annie hasn't gone through the same thing? Who's to say that the people that have become Titans have been like on the brink of death or something, and that triggered that first activation of that power, and Ymir realized what it was and controlled it since then? But yeah, Ymir's like, you haven't asked me for help. Why not? And she's like, I think that you don't really care if you save Daz or not. I think you just care that you all go out in a blaze of glory and die, and everybody thinks that you self-sacrificed. You just want to die here in the snow and look like you sacrificed yourself. And that shot of her eyes, Krista's eyes, kind of look like Aaron's a bit. Like they have that big hugeness to them. And when you see the light reflect on, they reflect off their eyes in different ways. Like Aaron's eyes do that and Krista's eyes do that. It's very, very cool. Very interesting. I'm curious. And even Aaron's mom, her eyes did the exact same thing. They were like huge and reflected light in interesting ways. But yeah, her eyes definitely look like Aaron's in this opening part. So yeah, I mean, Ymir calls her out, And there was this talk about being a good girl. So a lot of Ymir's conversation kind of reminded me of Annie a lot. But again, I don't think Ymir and Annie are connected. And now, I definitely don't think that Reiner and Bertholdt are connected to her. So it's funny. Something's going on, right? Something's happening right now of all times. Something's happening that I don't think is supposed to, and it's triggered all these things happening at once within the last 5 to 10 years. Because I don't think Ymir realized that Reiner and Bertholdt were the people that she nearly ate. I don't think that. I'm also like, if she's the Titan that nearly ate Reiner and Bertholdt, why did she nearly eat them? Because like Annie and Aaron have not actively tried to eat any humans, but she did. So is the moment that she tried to eat Reiner and Bertholdt and ate their friend instead, was that like her first transformation into a Titan and she couldn't control it? And we've established in this show that sometimes Aaron gets these urges and they're almost like primal urges, almost like the Titan's taking over, which is interesting. So did the Titan take over Ymir and she ate him? If she ate a person, that's disturbing. Like she actually ate someone. I mean, I guess they don't digest them in that form, but still, it's the concept. Gosh, okay. But yeah, the idea of the good girl, because like Annie kept asking Armin, do you think I'm a good person or not? And Armin's like, well, if you help us out, then yeah, but if not, I don't think you're a bad person. And that's why she helped. And at the end, when she turned into the Titan, she's like, I'm glad I got to be a good person for you. And then, did the whole wager thing. So Ymir kind of calls Krista out and is like, you're trying to make, yourself look like the good person that tried to save him. She's like, but if you want people to remember you as a hero who died trying to save someone, she's like, don't drag him down with you, because that's what a bad girl would do. And she's like, if you're going to kill, you're going to sacrifice yourself, but you're also sacrificing him. So that's not what a good person would do. So don't think that you're all self-righteous because you've killed somebody just to make yourself look good. And then Historia, Krista, says that she's wrong. And that's not it. I'm so fascinated because it seems I thought that Ymir has like known Krista from childhood, all this stuff, but that's not the case. And that's not the case. It seems like they just met each other during cadet training, and that's really when they got to know each other. But Ymir's been following her for some time. So we get this bit of lore here. Ymir says that you're her, right? The mistress's daughter who had people after your life. So obviously some royal person, the king or some royalty, had a mistress and had Krista, the illegitimate child. And I find it so fascinating that she overhears it in a church. Overhearing the gossip in a church. What irony, right? And it's the church the cult of the wall cult, at a church in the interior back when I snuck around borrowing things to stay alive. So again, staying alive, very much tied to Annie, the idea of survival, that her power to turn into a Titan, everything is for survival. And that's it. But we've established Titans don't have to eat to survive, so... So she was sneaking around in there. These two guys came in, and what a sob story it was. The illegitimate child who can't succeed a powerful noble. And they wanted to kill her and end all the fuss. And that's how Pastor Nick knows about her, right? But they'd look aside if she changed her name and lived a humble life. So it's like them saying, you know what, we'll spare this child from child murder if she just changes her name and moves away and stays away from the royalty. Then we'll be okay with it. Sure. And she just lives a humble life away from the walls. And so it kind of makes sense why Ymir would want her to go back. She's like, you deserve this. You're royalty. You deserve a good life away from these pigs that are trying to kill you. So go to the military, please. Sure. But there's clearly something else. And then Ymir gets kind of mad. And the girl was forced to join the cadet corps. So they probably made her join the cadet corps thinking, oh, she'll die out there, right? She'll get killed. That'll solve all of our problems. It won't look suspicious. We'll just have her join the survey corps, and then she'll die, and then no one will ever know about the illegitimate child. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. And then I like that Ymir's like, I haven't told anybody your secret, and I don't plan to. Like, that's not her motives. And then Krista's like, well, then did you just join the Survey Corps to find me? Why? Why would you do that? And I like that Ymir's kind of thrown off by it. Like, she doesn't really know what to say, but she's like, maybe because we're similar. And I don't think Ymir's... Here's the thing. I've debated whether it said person of Ymir. And I debated back a few episodes ago if Ymir was like a place and the people of it were just named after that. Like, they look a certain way. You know, like people within a certain tribe can look similar, or clan or family look similar. So if she's from like a place called Ymir and they're the people of Ymir, maybe she was cast out the same way. Maybe something similar happened. And she's like, do we have similar backgrounds? And I like that Ymir's like, more or less. So she doesn't deny it, but she doesn't agree either. So I don't know if Ymir's royalty, but I feel like she is basically was kicked out of her own family and you know, is trying to get revenge. And then Krista questions why she became a soldier, and Ymir says she doesn't really know why she did it. And then she's like, nah, it wasn't to... Yeah, and then Krista's like, oh, did you become friends with me? And then Ymir's like, friends? No. But then they became friends. So it's funny. It's funny. And she's like, you and I can't even compare. We both got a second chance at life. So something happened to Ymir. Something happened to Ymir to make Ymir go off. Either she was exiled or kicked out or something. But Ymir's like, I didn't take on a fake name like you, though. I am proud of my name. If I abandon my name and reject who I am, then they win. So we don't know who they are. We don't know who the they are that are trying to get Ymir to reject her name. And she wants revenge on somebody, but we don't know who. So there's still that question. And so I find it hard to believe that Ymir's going to die right now, because I'm like, she hasn't gotten to get revenge. We haven't found out who she wanted revenge on. Again, this show could kill her off because it likes to do that. It likes to kill people off without explaining anything. But I just feel like, I'm like, we have so many unanswered questions about Ymir. I can't believe she'd be gone this soon, right? It just seems unreal. And so then, yeah, Ymir becomes a Titan. Becomes a Titan and takes Daz down the hill and knocks Krista away so that she can't see. Man, it's so crazy. We don't see a lot of, if you go back and watch episodes 3 and 4, you don't see a lot of Ymir. She basically just makes fun of Sasha. She says she's going to use Sasha because she's dumb and things like that. But we don't see a lot of Ymir. And so that's interesting. But God, get through here. And then they just popped off. And so Bertholdt and Reiner decide they're going to go look after Krista. And I have a feeling it was Reiner's idea more than anything. But then they're like, we'll go with y'all. The more eyes, the better in a search. I don't know. I feel so conflicted, because part of me still feels really suspicious of Reiner and Bertholdt and that they can become Titans. But that shot, we'll get to it here in a minute, but that shot of them when they realized that Ymir was the one that ate their friend, that was terrifying. They were so mad. Oh, and I was like, ooh, I don't know. So I'm torn now. I'm like 50-50, thinking that maybe Reiner and Bertholdt can become Titans. Maybe. But I'm not sure. Ymir definitely can. And then, of course, Krista finally catches up. And Krista questions, how'd you get down from the cliff? It's too high. You didn't have any rope. How'd you beat me? How'd you get Daz down? Answer these questions for me. And I like that Ymir's like, why not? I can trust you. Sure. So, but Krista said she didn't know she could become a Titan. She says, when I reveal my secret to everyone, promise me. Take back your old name and live. And then the sun comes out. And the sun hits the ridge. So here's the thing. It makes sense now why Ymir wasn't noticed, because Ymir's not a tall Titan. She's not a giant 15-meter Titan or a colossal Titan. She's this little tiny Titan. I didn't expect that at all. She's this tiny little short Titan, the one with the big head. And she could just hop around like Spider Monkey and take Daz back. But she didn't do it during any sunlight. So it must have tired her out. It must have wore her out just to get there. Like, she had just enough energy to get him there from point A to point B, and that was it. That does establish that they can move around in darkness, though, and we established that in this episode in the moonlight, so interesting that they don't normally. But then, yeah, she jumps off that building. And I like that Ymir says, I told myself if I had a second chance at life that I would live for myself. That I would live for myself. And she's like Krista, there's times that I wish I'd never been born at all. I feel like Bohemian Rhapsody should play like during this whole fight. But yeah, I was hated by the world for just existing. So that made it sound like, I'm like, Krista, I'm like, Ymir, how old are you? So is she saying that she's always known she could become a Titan from like an earlier on age, and she's known how people feel about Titans, and that's been the source of like her guilt and everything? Like, is that the case? To give countless people joy, I gave up my life. But from that time, there was a wish I held in my heart. If someday I was given a second chance at life, this time I would live for no one but myself. So she says, I gave up my life for countless people's joy. What is that about? How does that work? That's interesting. Like, what did she give up her life for countless people's joy? That line there, I was like, that didn't make so much sense. I love how when she's transforming, the Titan, it's like DNA strands. It looks like DNA, right? It's very, very cool that the DNA strands are forming around her. And she's a tiny little Titan. I did not imagine that. I was like, damn, okay. Which is hilarious because Ymir becomes this, her design is weird, right? Ymir becomes this big ass Titan with boobs. And Ymir, or Annie does, and Ymir becomes this short, tiny Titan that does not have any distinguishable features. Does not look female, interestingly enough. And is tiny with the big head. So again, that is furthering the theory that inside these Titans that are attacking them might be actual people that tried to turn into Titans and failed, right? Now, I don't know if this is Ymir's choice to look like this, or if it's just the shape that she takes. But that leads me, because before, like, Aaron is a big, giant, muscular Titan, right? And you have the Colossal and the Armored Titan and Annie, who have, the not skin. They don't have skin. They're just muscles. And so then you have Ymir, who actually is skin, like Aaron, just not a fully fledged giant Titan. So the idea that they come in all shapes and sizes, the ones that humans can become, that makes me think that it was Connie's mom back in episode 3 on top of the house, and that these Titans that they're attacking are members of that village. That's what it's making me think. And she is just like going to town, ripping all of it out, nabbing them. And then here's the thing. Connie's like, oh, Ymir's a Titan. And then, yeah, Reiner and Bertholdt realize, but is it the same one? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Oh, God. And yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, and their faces are terrifying. Oh, buddy. So I want to pause on that. They were both there. Okay, so they're both freaked out. Oh my God, I can't wait to read the manga and see that panel. That's gonna be so freaking cool. But yeah, it got that one guy, and she ate him. And it looked like they had a coffee mug and like a barrel, like they were just on a hike, and then they ran away. Ugh! And then Reiner gets so mad that he grabs Historia, grabbing Krista, and like he saved her, but then he like hurt her leg because he's like, did you know about this? And he's so mad. Oh, yeah, he's so mad because it's like, if Ymir was the cause of all this, funny that, and then he kind of remembers and it's like, oh crap, sorry, didn't mean to grab it. And Bertholdt's like looking over at him like, shit. And then, yeah, did you know? And she's like, nope, didn't know it. But that brings up so many questions too. So I could just... it's funny because at the start of this series, I was thinking you had Titans versus humans. It was just Titans versus humans, very black and white. And then over the course of season 1, it was like, okay, no, we have Titans, and then the humans all split into different sects, right? You have the police and the military, you have royalty, you've got the politicians, you've got the Survey Corps, you've got the church. It's like humanity was all starting to divvy up into different groups. And you're like, wow, it's all these different factions of humans versus the Titans. But now it's spreading out even further. You have all the factions of humans, then you have Titans, then you have the people that can become Titans, and even within those people that can become Titans, they're all separated, right? I don't think Annie and Ymir are connected at all. They just happen to become humans. They just happen to be humans that can become Titans. And if Reiner and Bertholdt can become Titans, I don't think they're connected to Ymir or Annie. So, and none of them are connected to Aaron. So the question then becomes, why now? Why within the last 5 years have all these humans started becoming Titans? Unless, has it been a thing that's been happening for so long and no one in humanity has noticed or done anything about it? I guess before someone like Aaron came along, have these people been able to turn into Titans and we just didn't question it or nobody knew about it? Yeah. And so Krista, despite being close to her, didn't really realize what was going on. And, man, she knew some of the secrets of our world. And I never suspected a thing. So her being... And then, yeah, Connie's like, do you think she knew that Aaron could turn into a Titan? Or did she know about the fact she could even turn into a Titan? Connie's like, Aaron was a Titan too, but he didn't know it until it happened. But here's the thing Connie brings up. Aaron didn't seem to understand, but Ymir at least knew up until this point that she could become one. And then Chris is like, are you saying she might be an enemy of humanity? And it's like, well, like Connie said, that's a hell of a power to hide. We don't know what she's thinking. And then, yeah, Bertholdt, of all people, Bertholdt's like, I wonder what could be Ymir's goal. He's still suspicious. He's not off my suspicious radar. But yeah, Ymir, I feel like Ymir found connection with Krista, and it wasn't just that she... Now I don't think that Pastor Nick knows about Ymir. I don't think he does now, because it seems like Ymir is a free agent. Ymir is a free agent, no matter what her connections might be to people. I mean, she may be connected to a force that is with the Titans or knows about Krista's family or whatever, but I feel like Ymir has been working solo, kind of like Annie, for her own agenda. I've noticed that Annie and Ymir seem to be working towards their own agendas, and so Ymir's, I feel like she made a connection with Krista and wanted to follow her and help keep her safe because she saw a lot of herself in Krista, and if Krista can live up and have these goals and attain them, then why can't Ymir? So I like that in this moment, Ymir is holding back and trying to regain, like, saving some face because she's in front of Krista. And Krista's like, you're worried about the tower, you're about us, screw it. You're going to die, we're all going to die, so just tear it down if you have to. I'm like, damn. And Krista's like, live your life. It's like, oh, man. Oh, and there's just so many of them, and she's so tiny. Like, if she was the size of Aaron, she could probably just knock them all out, but she's not. She's smaller. So she's probably more nimble and fast. But, like Krista said, she could escape on her own if she wanted to. If she was just concerned about escaping, she's quick enough, she could get out of there. But she's trying to protect them. She's risking her life to protect them. And Krista is, like, all about that. I love it. I just, the power of friendship, Titan style, baby. The idea of them all grabbing onto her hair is great. And then Krista just making that plea, being like, you just do it. Don't pretend you're good. It's like, yeah, don't pretend like you're a good person. I love this outburst. She's like, it's too late for you to try to get into heaven. So live for yourself. Damn, that's like, you've already killed people. You might as well just do what you gotta do. And then her screaming at her to tear it down. And that's what she does. Ah! Cool. So I'm like, does Krista have an ability to like, is it actually Krista's ability to reach the Titans, or is it just Ymir? And then, man, okay. And she's like, keep it up. I love this, where they're all like, and then Reiner, Connie looks freaked out. Bertholdt's like, shit. Reiner's like, I'm gonna kill you. And Krista's like, oh God. And then she says, you want to live. Grab me. So the question is, how do they talk? How are some more advanced than others? I guess the Beast Titan's been around probably for a long time, so he's been able to talk, you know, after all that. And they're just like hanging on. God, that's awesome. I did not see this episode going like this at all. At all. I did not see all the backstory with Ymir. Did not see all that coming. Nope. Didn't see it. And then, yeah, the Titans aren't phased. I like that a cannon stopped that one last episode, but an entire tower falling on them? No. And then I really thought for a second that Ymir was going to escape like Annie did, but nope, that is not the case. And, man, Ymir still went back and attacked them to try to get them time. Damn. And then, of course, Mikasa's showing up in the most badass way possible to save Krista. I love it. I love that Mikasa's like, leave the rest to us. It's like, ha-ha! And then they all pipe in. I also didn't realize until this episode, Eren hasn't killed a Titan. It took us a season and a half before Eren killed a Titan in the battlefield. That's hilarious to me. That's hilarious that it took one season and 5 episodes before Eren killed his own Titan. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, they all arrive where the Titans are gathering, and Hanshi's like, yeah, let's do this. And she's like, get back here. Hanshi's like, get back here, Eren. You don't need to be part of the attack. And Eren's like, I just want to kill one Titan so I can say that I did it. And then they just get him back over here. Because, yeah, Eren is not, as we've established, I just rewatched episodes 3 and 4. As we've established, Eren is not great with the ODM gear. He is just average. He is not amazing. And I love that he goes, ouch. I love that he goes, ouch. Like, Eren of all characters, the guy that's turned into a monstrous Titan and has arms ripped off and has neck bit open, he gets scraped up and goes, ouch. Like, hilarious. This show and its sense of humor. But yeah, finally, Eren getting back with Reiner and Bertholdt and all of them. And Connie. Them all, the gang's all here, right? Them all showing up to get rid of the Titans. Damn. And Mikasa doing the Levi spin. Learning from the best. But yeah, them all showing up and it's funny because during the Annie reveal, we didn't have time for them to have like a shocked expression. I mean, they did, but we didn't have time to process it. It just happened. And then we had episodes 24 and 25. And in episode 8, we had Eren's reveal of being inside the Titan. And everybody was like shocked at that. But we didn't get to see Eren's reaction because he was passed out. So it's interesting to me that we get to see in this moment all of the 104th, the troops that are there in that group gathered. And then we go back to the Titans like evaporating, and some of them just look human. It's creepy. It's very creepy. If they're all members of Connie's village, that's gonna oof. But yeah, we have all of the 104th there, and so yeah, Reiner and Bertholdt, and then Mikasa and Connie and Armin and Eren, and then Armin being like, another one, like right under our noses. Yeah, she's lost an arm and a leg and part of her side. Oh, damn. That part of that side, that's the part that's not good. And then, like, it's all up, all that Titan stuff where it was connected is all on her neck still. Ugh. And she has, like, all the stuff where it was connected on the inside of her eyes. Oh, and she's so pale. They make Krista look so beautiful there. Like, that's, like, the most gorgeous animation. She literally looks like an angel. A literal angel. Oh. And then, yeah, my real name is Historia. And I like that Aaron and Mikasa and Connie and Aaron and Armin are like, okay, cool. And Hanji being like, And then, yeah. And then right as Ymir smiles, it didn't fade. I thought for a second it faded, but it didn't. Man. And that's the episode. Ooh. Oh, buddy. Huh. So yeah, God, going into this, I'm so conflicted because part of me still wants to think that Reiner and Bertholdt are the colossal and armored titans. Part of me wants to still believe that. But based on their reaction to figuring out that it was Ymir that was the titan that ate their friend, I don't know anymore. I'm kind of doubting it. I don't know. They were so freaked out. I still think, part of me still thinks that Reiner can become a titan. He just doesn't realize it. Bertholdt, I don't know. But man, I really don't think Ymir's dead, but I don't know. That whole gut thing is pretty damning. Unless she can heal herself. Unless next episode she just like starts healing herself. That'd be great. Did she have any steam coming off of her? I mean, there's steam coming off everywhere. I just don't know if we see anything like that. I mean, there's all this steam everywhere, so it's kind of hard to tell because there's steam from all the titans evaporating. Damn. If she's dead already, damn, Ymir. I need answers. I need answers about your life and about your name and why the Titan revered you. Very curious, y'all. Very curious. Oh, buddy. I just don't know. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm so curious your thoughts about this episode. It did not go the way I thought it would. Didn't see Ymir happening like this. I imagined that the squad would show up, but I wasn't sure when. It almost looked like some of Ymir's hair has turned white, which is weird too. Or maybe it's just the smoke. Damn, I'm so curious. And she's got the freckles like Marco and Ilse. I still have questions, but I'm glad I watched episodes 3, 4, and 5 before going back to watch this one. I'm glad I am because I feel like it was a good watch to prep for this episode. But now, I don't know, y'all. I'm so curious. So I'm curious to know your thoughts down below, what you all thought of this episode. This was a great episode. I can't believe we're to the halfway point of season 2 next episode. How did we get here already? I feel like halfway through season 1 was Primal Desires, which so much stuff happened between episodes 1 and 13. Like, so much stuff happened. And a lot of stuff has happened in this season so far between episodes 1 through 5. But a lot of it's been like reveals and character development and just little like name drops and little pieces of information, just crumbs scattered all over the ground. A lot has happened, but I can't believe episode 6 is going to be next, and it's halfway. I've loved this season so far. This season's been awesome. I really have loved it. I'm so curious now the conversations that will happen because we haven't had much conversation about Ymir being a Titan. So now all they know is that Krista didn't know about it. So I'm really curious about Aaron and Armin and Bertholdt and Reiner and Connie and Mikasa having a conversation about this whole thing. Like, I hope we at least get like a moment to talk about it because and for them, I hope they at least talk about, was she in cahoots with Annie? Is this something separate? Is this all connected? Is it all happening around the same time? What's going on? So, in any case, thank you for watching this reaction. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. If you are going to comment down below and you have spoilers, please tag them. Please don't spoil me. Tag spoilers if you can, and I won't read them until a later time. If you're like, Romania, wait until after season 2 to read this spoiler. Cool. I'm making notes of some comments and episodes to go back to. So if some of you have done that, you're like, Romania, this has season 2 spoilers. And so I'm waiting until season 2 is over to go back and and read those comments. So if you need to do that down below, please do. But otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back next time with episode 6 of season 2 of Attack on Titan. Bye.